Oh, wow. Hi everyone. Wow, Thinny Wow Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new horror album, Tomorrow We Escape. Here we have a brand new record from the duo Ho99o9, or Horror, multi-genre New Jersey natives, a duo that have just dropped their third full-length LP here. They've been around for over 10 years now, but they weren't really making noise until about like the late 2010s, which is when they dropped their debut, The United States of Horror, which admittedly I was not crazy about. For a while I've kind of been more into horror in concept than in actuality, because while they do seem deeply influenced by a lot of genres that I have a soft spot for, whether it be hardcore hip-hop, hardcore punk, horrorcore, left field strains of electronic music, industrial rock, rarely have I been blown away by how they put all of it together, though I definitely appreciate the effort, because trying to make all of these seemingly disparate and extreme genres exist together in a way that is harmonious and authentic, it's a difficult task that's not for the faint of heart. I mean, metaphorically, it's got to be something like solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. So while horror's progression and output has been pretty gradual since the release of this first album, they've never stopped performing and writing and dropping more stuff. And Tomorrow We Escape, in my opinion, is the best they have sounded so far, not only production-wise and writing-wise, but this is also the most seamless I think the duo has ever been in terms of making all of their influences work together at the same time. And it looks like they put quite a bit of care into the overall flow of this track list as well. The track I Miss Home is a relatively gentle tone setter with dreamy synths, some neo-soul vocal leads too, and some dramatic spoken word poetry that is set against these increasingly distorted tones and drones. It's dramatic as hell and kind of sounds like spitting through a sonic sandstorm, and has to be the most emotional note that horror has ever begun on with a record. The following track, Escape, though, is a much more cut and dry number. A very direct combo of hardcore punk drums and guitars with some trippy, washed out alt-rock vocals, a few jump the fuck up riffs that end the track off, and a grand finale too. It's alright. But Target Practice after that is a lot more unique for its combination of metal riffs, aggressive rap verses, and the kind of plucky analog synthesizer sequences you would usually get out of a Nine Inch Nails song. Not to mention all the horrifying sound effects wailing away in the background. The track packs a lot of details and a lot of guts into 2 minutes. Plus, I'm loving the snide delivery on some of these bars, like, if you want to be Madonna, go back to 86, lucky me, another label telling me what's a hit. Whole thing kind of sounds like a mosh pit on a factory floor. Then after this, we have the even wilder Okay, I'm Reloaded, whose blown out guitars and screamed verses blend hardcore hip-hop and hardcore punk so aggressively that they make me kind of forget the differences between the two genres entirely. Psychic Jumper is a shift into a low-key number that breaks up the track list very nicely, features an entrancing rap beat with some skipping snares, verses that remind me of guys like Del the Funky Homo Sapien, Andre 3000 to an extent too. But the way the keys and sung vocals are kind of detuned and out of whack a little bit on the chorus, I could see what it's going for, but it sounds so off to the point where it's hard to like legitimately enjoy it. But Incline with Nova Twins, Pink Sifu, as well as Young Skirt, shout out to him, friend of the channel there, is an interesting one, because not only does it bring like the kind of aggressive ravey beats that you might enjoy from classic groups like Prodigy, but you've also again got like kind of this punk aggression to it with a touch of these trippy auto-tuned chorus vocals that feel like there's something out of a Travis Scott album. Very wild and unlikely combination of sounds and influences, and yet horror makes it work so well. The whole thing sounds like fucking gorillas on caffeine pills. Upside Down is a lot more straightforward in its adoption of kind of this like, you know, old school nu metal, rap metal revivalist style, something we have been subjected to in a myriad of different forms for the last several years now. But honestly, this track, I think, stands a cut above the rest of all of that shit that is trying to like shove this vintage sound down our throats once again, as I think horror legitimately manages on this track to bring it back in a way that's actually thrilling. It doesn't just feel like an exercise in nostalgia. Toward the end of the record, we have a few pretty killer collabs. Greg Puciato of Dillinger Escape Plan fame sounds absolutely sick on the album. The way his screams and cleans fit over the frantic beats of this album, it just sounds amazing. Horror really put some crack into this song. The drums as well are so intense, it sounds like you're sitting right behind the kit. And after this, we also have Immortal featuring Chelsea Wolfe, which, given how aggressive and explosive the last track was, you wouldn't think horror would make such a perfect transition over to something that is so ghostly and alluring, exactly the sort of vibe that you want to hear behind Chelsea Wolfe, with some motivational rap verses laced in here and there to kind of bring in a bit of versatility. With the final moments of the album, we have LA Riots, which obviously, given all of the actions over there recently with the troops, cops, ICE, this is a very apt punk rap fusion that essentially illustrates the chaos of our times perfectly, the authoritarianism that is being rebelled against in this moment socially. And then Godflesh, beyond being obviously title-wise a tribute to a very clear influence on the duo's music, is a very fiery and explosive closer. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, I truly feel like this record is the best horror has ever sounded in terms of songwriting, in terms of production, and once again, making all of their varied influences and extreme music make sense together. I do think the flow of the album, though, does begin to get a bit choppier toward the back end, because the record does progressively begin to feel like, oh, random song going in this direction, random song going in this direction, random song going in this direction. The macro picture of the album isn't the most cohesive you're going to hear in 2025, sure, but pretty much every single one of these songs is a banger and stands on its own 2 feet. And sometimes, what more do you want from a record other than just like a very strong collection of bops, especially ones that are produced and assembled so creatively, which is why I'm giving this album a strong 7 to a light 8. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, horror forever.